Welcome, guys, to another episode of the MEDIAtors. I am your co-host, Brody.
And I am the assistant to the co-host.
The main co-host.
The co-co-host.
The Coco host?
The co-co-host. That's not racially appropriate. But
I was thinking of like hot cocoa.
Yeah. But we're in the South. I think we just call it hot chocolate.
It doesn't matter where it's from. Like, I mean, I understand, like, there's pop and soda.
Right.
But, like, cocoa is, like, the same anywhere.
Do you think so?
Right.
I never grew up calling it. Well, my family call it hot chocolate, but they're from the West.
But, like, if I heard cocoa, I wouldn't be like, oh, what's that? I would think of that, even though I call it hot chocolate.
Right. I think everyone knows what it is. Just like pop. We all know what pop is. But
Yeah,
in the
even though
South,
we don't
we
call
call
it
it
that.
Coke.
Yeah, that I don't like.
You know,
That I cannot get behind.
I can't get behind. I'm behind it, but I'm not. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It's like calling lunch dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But why? It's not Coke.
That's just how it is down here, man. If you can't get with it, go somewhere else.
I can't.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't have the money.
I don't have the money. But
Anyways, we're
speaking
talking
of Coke, Starfield.
You know how much Coke they did while they're making this game?
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of cocaine.
I was talking about the soda, like energy drinks,
Oh,
maybe.
I had one today.
Oh yeah,
Bang Energy.
really? Is that one of your favorite ones?
No, that's if I don't find a C4.
So C4 is the best one.
I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's my favorite
Why is it your favorite?
because it has beta alanine in it. And beta
I don't know
alanine,
what that is.
it makes your body like have those itchy sensations, like tingly. And
Interesting.
Right, and it's wonderful. So it makes you feel like something else. It makes
Yeah.
you feel alive again.
Makes you feel alive again.
Alive again. But
okay.
speaking of being alive again. All right, ladies and gents, we're going to get right to it. It's Starfield talk.
It is Starfield. So we saw the E3 for it. We saw there's a lot of different things because it had been a pretty mysterious game
Oh, yeah.
for the
a
longest
long
time. I mean, since 2000.
He'd been hinting that Todd wanted to do freaking sci-fi game for years.
And it was formally announced in 2018.
Yeah.
So I'm like.
That was legitimately
the
announced.
official announcement.
But then before that, he'd been talking about
Yeah.
how he'd wanted to do it. It's just crazy how in depth.
Since 2000, for some time prior to the trademarking of the name in 2013.
Yeah,
So it's been a
it's
good
been
bit.
a while.
It's been a good bit.
while. And so since it's been so long, do you think that it's going to make the game better?
No?
You don't think so? Like versus, let's say if I just came up with the idea like, hey, I'm going to create this game, and then I create it within 2 years, versus, man, this is like my passion project I've been wanting to do for like 15 years.
I mean, yeah, but like I think this type of a game needs that amount of time anyway. So I mean, I
Right,
wouldn't
that's
say,
what I'm saying. Like a game like this.
What I'm saying is I don't think they've had an overabundance of time to make this game.
Right, because there's been other games, but
Yeah, and like the scope from what I've been hearing about this game is that it needs at least this amount of time. In fact, they're saying, it's right now it's slated to release November 2022.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, don't get your hopes up on that one because
No.
it's probably going to shift,
It's gonna
especially
push
this
back.
early in development. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I guess. But I mean, who knows how much crunch is still going on
Yeah.
in the company, even though they had all this time. Because I mean, when you start with a concept, it can go forever before you even get to like the next phase, the next stage of it.
Right.
I think of like a movie. There's a long time between sometimes like coming up with an idea to writing the script to getting that script actually produced.
True that.
So I'm like, yeah, you could do a movie in like a year, but if you could make the same movie in 10 years and it wouldn't necessarily be better depending on how long it's like in different development stages.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if I've always found that if a game seems like it's taking a while, I would rather it take a while than too quick.
And that's the thing. I think we learned that with Cyberpunk. It's like, okay, take your time with the game. Make it as good as you can.
Yep.
But like, and then I know Cyberpunk did a lot of things as well, but I feel like Starfield is even bigger than Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So the possibility of it failing is that much higher.
yeah.
Who's Todd Howard?
Oh, so for those who don't know, Todd Howard is the guy he's basically over Bethesda, correct? And he's one of like the top directors for the game.
Yeah, he's the director of the game.
Everyone loves Todd, apparently. So,
old Todd.
but
Look at
Todd,
this guy.
yeah, I know. Look
Looks like
at him.
Superman.
You think so?
Well, at least the actor who plays him in the
He's
voice.
50 to, hey, look, it says Todd Andrew Howard, age 50 to 51.
I guess they don't have because of the exact date, so there's no year.
Let's just pull the first grader shenanigans and say 50 and a half.
50 and a
Let's
half,
just
there
cut
you
it
go.
short. But Todd had said that he is not going to release Skyrim until they do a sci-fi game, and which is, Starfield. So that's one of the main reasons why Starfield's so big, because then that kind of opens the door.
Hopefully we'll be getting the next Skyrim. Or
And
Elder
that's what
Scrolls
we
game.
all
Yeah.
want. But
Yeah?
there's hope, because not only has Todd Howard said this, but people who no longer work on Starfield
Yeah.
that have either their contract is up or something like that, they had talked about Starfield, and they're basically saying this game is insane in a good
Yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah.
And they were saying it's basically like Skyrim in space.
Oh, no. It looks... So everything I've seen about it, the trailer, everything we're hearing, it looks like a pretty good game. Let me ask you, is it going to be good enough that you're going to get an Xbox?
Okay. I was just thinking this. There's a couple of different factors. Would I just get an Xbox for Starfield? Possibly. I would wait until Starfield is released,
Yeah.
and I would see what the gameplay is like and if it's worth it. Because I like the exclusives for PlayStation.
I mean, you don't have to have just one or the other.
That's true.
You
So
could get both.
more than likely, I'm starting to lean towards Xbox, because also Halo multiplayer is something I loved Halo growing
Yeah.
up. Loved Halo. And it's just right now, I feel
They've
like...
got more of the games that you'd be interested in
Yeah,
getting.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. And then later on down the road, I'll probably get a PlayStation to, keep playing with the boys. But me and your brother were talking about Xbox, and
No, yeah, like I
He
said,
was
the reason
agreeing
I
too,
got
yeah.
a PlayStation 4 was because of a game that I wanted to
Uncharted,
play on it.
right?
Yeah. And so,
And now that they're done, basically.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I've still got a PlayStation 4. I'll get a PlayStation 5 if there's ever a game that I'm like, okay, I want to play this game really
Right.
bad on the PlayStation 5. I'll play that game. But like if there's an exclusive for Xbox, you might as well go for an Xbox
True.
that you want to play, you know? And
Yeah, yeah.
they need to like be able to rent them out or something, because like, I mean, yeah, I want to play this game, and maybe there's a couple other games I'd play,
Yeah.
but like for how long,
Right. Yeah, that's true, because there's some games that will make you lose interest. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dog this game, but I've been playing Days Gone.
Oh yeah.
I got bored. I lost
You got bored
interest.
with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the map's not that big, and it just kind of...
man.
That's the sad
Is it really
thing.
not that big? I felt like it was a bigger game.
It wasn't that big. To me, it wasn't.
Gotcha.
But that's why I'm kind of going in my next little point, is that's kind of sad in a way, because it's like we, the consumers, it's like we want more, bigger, bigger.
Yeah.
And which is fine, but then like it's still a solid game. Like Days Gone is still
No,
a solid
yeah.
game with a good story, and it's just like I kind of feel bad on myself. I'm like,
But that's personal preference
Yeah.
as well. I was like, you can apologize, I guess, for personal
but then
preference.
some games
but-
get too big, and it's just like there's
Yeah.
not enough to do. So it's
Or
just
there's
like,
too much to do
There's not enough to do. Like,
in a game that's too big.
yeah. Well, like I'm
What do you
talking
mean?
about size wise, like
Yeah.
the map.
Oh, so you're
So-
saying there's not like it's so spread out that
Yeah,
it feels
can
like
get-
there's not, even though so
right.
like say if it was half the size, it would feel like a more busy game.
Like for Red Dead Redemption, I love Red Dead Redemption, but sometimes I get bored. I'm just like,
I was just thinking about that game.
were you?
Yeah.
I've been playing it again.
Oh man, I kind of want to get back into it. I might pick it up a little bit this weekend. We'll
It's
see.
something that I would say
It's a phenomenal game.
it's very good.
Absolutely.
Now I personally the story I would have went a different route, but online though, like multiplayer,
Yeah. What would you have done differently with the story?
What the story?
Yeah.
I wanted more outlaw. Like it didn't seem
Okay,
like
like
the
instead
Wild
of on the
West.
run, you wanted
Yeah.
it. Yeah, well, I think that was. I feel like Red Dead, like the whole thing is like, okay, it's the turn into the civilization.
Right.
The Old West is dying, and so that's why you don't see as much of it.
Yeah, but I don't want the Old West to die.
Well, it did.
I want it to be Western. I'm talking about gangs.
So you need a prequel for Red
Yeah,
Dead.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, that'd be great if it like the whole game builds
Uh,
up to that last robbery that they did that caused trouble in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. And maybe it's like younger John Marston, younger Arthur
That'd be
Morgan.
fun. I know, because like I guess spoiler alert for the games, but like everybody dies,
Yeah.
and like everybody does. So, I mean, yeah, because they were fun characters.
Yeah, they
playing
were.
with. So I was like, yeah, bring them all back again. Give them like younger
Yeah.
versions, and just have them go on some adventures.
Make it
and
like
different
more
things.
old western. Make it to where they're in Mexico, and I feel like there could be more done in it to make it funner in a way. Like I feel like, and there's people that love it. This is a hot take alert.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm about to disagree.
This
with
is
you.
a hot take. I don't like the route that they took. I feel like they focus like for example, I don't want to be a collector in the game. Like when you're,
Like what?
so like in
Getting the money.
online multiplayer.
Oh, gotcha.
Like you're collecting these artifacts, treasure hunting, stuff like that.
And that's not really fitting even the characters, though. Really.
In my opinion, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I want to run a criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
I want to go to the saloons and have fun. I want to do assassinations. I want to do all that stuff. I don't need a psychiatrist, I promise. But I know how everybody's like, golly, this dude.
But you want to go out and you just want to be crazy, kind of like. So
I want to be an
you
outlaw.
You want a GTA, but in the Old West.
Basically.
And it's close to you. Right? I do agree because like I haven't played a whole lot of the online besides that one time we played, and it was glitching.
It's
and
gotten
buggy
better.
So bad.
It's gotten way
But
better since then.
The whole thing, you're right. Like I said, if you can't go online and just kind of be doing whatever you want, then that takes away the fun of it.
And you can, but it's almost like it was so darn big. It's like there's so much to do, but it doesn't get. You can't go too deep into each one in a way.
Gotcha. Well,
it's still fun. Like
Yeah.
the moonshine roll, really fun. They did it to
so
where
you can do different roles in online.
yeah. So you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a collector, you can be all of them.
But why are you being a collector if you don't like it then?
Because sometimes, like in order to unlock, let's say bounty hunter, you have to level up.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
So even to get to the parts that you want to do, you have to do this if you don't like to do.
Sometimes.
And that's what you're right.
Sometimes.
Okay, so like GTA 5 online.
Yeah.
You had to get the the tutorial stuff done first before you could even play online.
Right.
And that was annoying. Like when
Yeah.
you get the game, everybody else is already online. They're like, "Hey, come on, let's go play."
And it's like,
And you're like, "Oh man, I've got like 30
Lord.
minutes or whatever through this story stuff that you don't care about."
Yeah.
Honestly, and
Yeah.
you have to get through it. So yeah, I think again that's the thing is like, okay, you don't always have to give people exactly what they want right away, but don't make it where they have to do stuff they don't like to do. To get to that part of
Exactly. Yeah.
it.
No, like I said, there's pros and cons. There are pros and cons
Yeah.
to Red Dead, and I really like it, but I wanted more life in the game. Like it's too frontierish for me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Where there's not like a lot of people.
not a lot of people all the
Yeah.
time. I want to go into it. Like you can go into Saint Denis, but it doesn't feel like the Old West anymore. You feel like you're in the city of Louisiana or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm like, I want Old West. I want to walk down the street and you're seeing fist fights and carnivals, and I like spectacular.
Oh yeah,
Culture.
Well, and I feel like that's what Starfield's gonna be. They're gonna be having like a ton of like it's apparently NPCs and stuff.
I
and everything.
know. Yeah, let's get back to Starfield.
Yeah,
because
well, I feel like we can tie it in because, like I said,
Yeah.
all the things you're asking for, Starfield is promising it. I say promising because we
Really?
haven't got it yet.
right.
But I'm like, okay, they have all this stuff where you can have, like, the life. So they were saying like you could be in there, and you can do kind of whatever you want, like Skyrim. So you could, if you wanted to just go pick flowers and watch the sunset,
Yeah.
you can do that, and you can have like a fulfilling story experience that way.
Yeah.
You can, if you want to just get through the quests, you can do that. You can complete the main storyline. He's like, you basically make your own adventure.
Yeah.
You know, you choose your own adventure on this one here. So you can do that, and it sounds like you have almost like free reign. You
yeah.
build your own backstory at the beginning of the game. You
That's
build your
crazy,
characterization,
yeah.
and it influences the game as it progresses.
See that right there, like.
It sounds amazing. Like, that's one of the best parts about Skyrim.
Well, I want to touch on something you said about the
Yeah.
customization because they were saying that's a huge part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Is they want it to be like so much you can do. I'm like, well, heck yeah.
And that's why I was like, it sounds.
That's so much fun.
It sounds like it's too much to promise. That's why I'm like, it sounds
Yeah.
almost like Cyberpunk. Where like, okay, they're promising all this stuff you can do, which sounds amazing, but how much are they going to actually be able to deliver?
True. Well, it's Bethesda.
And that's true. They do take. I mean, like they take their time. They're going to do it. So I'm hopeful.
Do you think people are going to hold them to a way high of a standard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the more the more good you do, the more good is expected of you.
Right. Yeah. And which they probably know that, and that's why they're taking their time.
Yeah. No,
Which-
they definitely need to.
Which I'm for, and something I'm super pumped about is, and not really pumped, but intrigued in a way, I guess you could say, is traveling to different planets.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like how each planet is its own different. Like you might have an alien planet, which they did talk about. There's aliens in the game. Then there's
Yeah. I
I don't
think
know.
it's like the better version of No Man's Sky.
You haven't seen Stargate Atlantis yet,
I haven't.
but they do that. They travel different planets, and each planet has its own feel to it. Has like there's an old Western planet, or
Oh,
there's
yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
it'd
I've
be
seen shows that do this
Yeah.
stuff like that. I saw Sliders. I know basically
right.
everything.
Oh, it's great. I loved it. Stargate
Sliders was a
Atlantis.
terrible show.
Sliders.
Sliders.
I haven't seen it.
All right, quick side. So this guy basically builds a device that lets him teleport or whatever to like different like realities,
Okay.
and then they can't get back to their original reality,
Oh, that kind of.
and
I mean,
they never do.
I'm not saying that sucks as the story, but I'm like that would suck as a person. Like can't get back to reality.
Yeah, so it's him and like two other people, and then a great part happens. Like they fire the main actor leaves after like a couple seasons, after like 4 seasons or whatever.
Dang.
And instead of killing him off or whatever, they just do. Oh no, his like body changed, and he's still him, but it's a different person. Oh yeah, it got interesting. They did kill off some main characters, but that was some cheesy sci-fi I saw right there.
I probably would have killed them off. But anyhow, and so that's I think honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Starfield's gonna live up to the hype.
It sure feels like it. That's why I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're talking about they're gonna have a full orchestra for the soundtrack.
And how they're like you said it. We were talking about this before we started recording. The lore.
Oh yeah,
It
like the
seems like
amount.
it's really.
I was
deep.
watching a little bit of like a trailer breakdown, and like everything in the trailer, like even the books on the shelves,
Yeah.
has like a meaning to the game.
Yep.
So I'm like, there is so
It's
much
deep.
that's gonna be able to. Again, you look at like Skyrim,
Yep.
that has so much to it that you can add, like discover and explore.
Right.
And now that we're getting that in like a sci-fi future space setting, which is like what 300 years in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and that like they keep talking about it. I don't know how well it's gonna like. I don't know if it's gonna be like a big deal, but it's not like a make-believe future, even though it's like not real. But, like
Right.
it's set in our universe. So instead of like
Yeah.
Star Wars or Stargate Atlantis, whatever, it's
Yeah.
like supposed to be. If we went 300 years from today,
Yeah.
this is what it would kind of like look like, is what they say.
Right. And something that one of them, I kind of blanked. I was gonna say something good. Okay, yeah, I remember. So
Okay, I was like,
one of the guys who was making it, it actually may have. No, I think it was Todd Howard who said this. I read
Yeah.
so many quotes, but they were saying basically, think of this video game as like a Han Solo type life.
I did hear that too. Yeah,
That
which
got
was
me
like
like,
amazing. Like you can customize your ship.
yeah.
You can do all this different stuff.
Han
like there's gonna be guns
Solo,
and maybe
yeah.
space battles that they're expecting.
Well, they know for sure that there's gonna be space battle,
Yeah,
like with the ships.
because I think they said they're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. I was watching the breakdown, and he's like, we see like, lasers
Yep.
and different stuff like on the description, like in the background and things. So we're all assuming these things. So probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
There would have to be,
Right.
'cause it would be boring if it wasn't. Like,
And I know people are saying Han Solo, but I also think of like Firefly. Which
Firefly is so good.
yeah. And so I've always wanted a Firefly game
That
like
would
that,
be
and I
fun.
feel like this is going to be similar to that.
But in order for them to have a Firefly type of game, they'd have to have more characters that you can bring onto your ship.
I'm not sure. We might find something like
True.
that.
Well, I know that you'll have like I think 2 robots. You got like a robot
Yeah.
dog and whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I love Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Like I said, all these sci-fi type games are really fun. So I'm looking forward to playing this one for sure. Because like I said, there's a lot we don't know yet, but everything we have heard sounds absolutely amazing.
Mm.
One of the biggest things that I think that nobody's really talked about yet is the fact that you can now climb up and down ladders. No, so I was listening to one guy
Starfield,
talking
yeah.
about it, and he's like, have we ever seen like a Skyrim game or anything by Bethesda, Fallout, where you go up and down a ladder? He's like, it's either
That's true.
steps or it's elevators.
That's true.
So maybe the person was wrong, but I couldn't remember one either. So I'm
I
like,
can't think of either. Yeah.
But yeah, like you see in the trailer, like you go up and down a ladder. So game breaks right there, just
Yeah.
amazing.
That you know what though, I don't know if that'd be. I think Bethesda should just still not do the ladders.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't really technically need a lot. You could do
No.
lifts in a spaceship.
Yeah, you can do
Or
lifts,
even steps. Like I
lifts,
played the Outer
yeah.
Worlds, and you had the same thing. You had a ship you could go into, and you had steps that went up and
That'd
down.
be
That was it.
awesome if they made the ship big enough to where you could walk down, have a meal in your ship, and
Yeah.
have its own life. I just hope it's not that little pod. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm pretty sure you're gonna get like your own ship.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the customization, man, I'm gonna name him Big Space John.
Big Space John.
Yeah.
Make it green.
Make it. Oh yeah, green. Just
Oh.
yeah, just the greenest of greens.
I love it,
You
man.
know, it'd be. I wonder if there's like underwater stuff.
So on the concept art, there is like a Lost City of Atlantis.
That's
type of
right. I forgot about
yeah.
that.
So I'm like, we're expecting to see some underwater stuff, which would be the amount of exploration you're going to be able to do in this game.
Seems pretty legit.
It's so much fun, and I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now, the Legend of Zelda game,
Yeah.
and it's a huge map.
Yeah.
You can fast travel, which is really nice. But you have to unlock, kind of like Assassin's Creed. You have to go up to the towers and like look around.
Unlock it. Yeah.
So I'm doing that right now, trying to get everything unlocked because it's a big map. But yeah, the exploration in that game is one of my favorite parts about it so far. I'm not even doing the main storyline. I'm just doing the exploration right now.
That's
Same thing with Skyrim
yeah.
and everything.
Red Dead was like that. It was more fun. They do these little side things.
And then I'll get bored and just go through the story mode real fast.
Yeah.
But, I just the fact that again those open worlds where you can just kind of run around, you can do whatever you want. If you want to just go over and ignore like the person getting mugged,
yeah.
you can do that. You can have fun with it.
Oh, what are you doing? Okay.
So I'm excited to see like what kind of like pirates they're gonna have in this game. And
yeah, because they are gonna have pirates.
Yeah.
We know that, and that you will be able to join a faction.
yeah. So again,
That's a cool
very
thing.
Skyrim reminded
Yep.
me of that. Yeah.
Basically, like what that one guy said.
Yeah, space.
It's Skyrim in space, and
Which is
I'm
such a
for it.
genius idea. I'm like, the fact that it hasn't really been done, quote unquote, already is.
I mean, let's just
insane.
be honest though. Like, I think I'm not accusing them of doing this.
Okay.
But it's probably the easier way to go because they got the bones for it.
What do you mean by that?
But because like if they've already had a successful game, Skyrim. So
Gotcha.
like
Okay.
we got the bones for a successful game. Now let's just move it to space.
Yeah, I think, and like a lot of the technology used to make this game, the engines that it's
Yeah.
running.
It had to be
Is-
caught up.
Yeah. So I mean, this is basically the Avatar of
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah.
Can we call it that?
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
fair.
like, I feel like that's a good.
It worries me.
Yeah, because like the chance of failure again is so
Yeah.
high.
So, if you can think of three, one is fine. What are some things that worry you about the game, like it making it not? A good
I think
game?
just like again, I think of Cyberpunk, the glitches where it's like almost unplayable,
Okay.
and that they take it off the store.
That's
Now again, I
true.
know, but like it just came up on PlayStation store recently, the Cyberpunk game,
Right.
after it had been released for months,
Yeah.
actually almost a year, and the fact that, like I said, I feel bad for the developers that had
Right.
to work so hard to get to that point, and then it just fails completely
Flopped. Bad.
because of pressure, because of all this different stuff.
You got anything
so-
else that you?
So that's my
Your
top
main worry,
concern
yeah.
right now. My second concern, I honestly don't. I'm not worried about, like, okay, they're gonna rush the story, so it's not as good quality. I'm not really worried about the quality of the content more than the technical parts of it. But if I had to pick another thing, I would worry about fan pressure and fan expectations is my second and third one. So the
Yeah.
pressure of fans to the studios, which we have seen, can get very toxic.
Yeah.
And then reactions, even if it is an amazing game, if it doesn't meet up to somebody's expectations, which might just be too high, then it ruined. Like they people have the power to ruin something even if it's good,
Yeah.
because it didn't. It could have
That's
been
true.
better.
I mean,
quote-unquote.
that kind of happened with Red Dead too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a great game, but they're expecting so much more from it.
Or somebody was disappointed that wasn't GTA 6.
Yeah.
And they were hating on it because it wasn't a GTA game.
Yeah, it's like
And it's ridiculous.
those people like that. There's
made up
nothing you can
reasons.
do. Yeah, I would say my number one main concern is that it's going to be so big that it's going to be basic. Like,
From what I've heard, I feel like that's not going to happen. But like I said, if
I'm hope
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm right,
I don't think you were either.
but I'm just saying it's a worry I have because what I don't want is like, hey, you can go to these 10 planets, right? But there's only 2 things you can do on each planet.
And see,
That would
plenty of
suck.
games have done that.
Yeah.
Or like you can do that like I guess Mass Effect is kind of an open world, but like you
Yeah.
go there and then you couldn't do certain things until you get farther into the story.
I'm
You know?
down for that, but I feel like if I wanted to build a life on one of those planets, I should be able to build an in-depth life on that
I think
planet.
yeah, you can do like space stations and outposts.
But then the next planet, I decided to do that. It should not be like literally I'm doing the same thing on that planet. Like I feel like it should change. I feel like it should have each planet like really almost. This is probably impossible to do.
Maybe.
But each planet is like a whole new game in a way.
That would be fun. So basically,
could you imagine that? We wouldn't probably even play Skyrim, like, because I will say that they were saying this game is so in depth that it's like meant to be played for someone.
No, I think I've
like
heard
1,000 hours or something.
Yeah, I heard like 10,000.
Yeah, it was like thousands of hours.
Because again, it's
That's a big
universe. Rather than Skyrim, where you're like in a country or whatever.
Yeah,
you're in the universe. There's like infinite amount of planets. I'm like, okay, so I'm very curious to see what the scope of the game is going to be,
right?
Because they're playing in a sandbox that is beyond our understanding. You know, like, okay, so how far are you going to be able to go? How far are you going to be able to do this? How many planets can you explore? How many planets can they actually do that are going to be believable? You know, like how many planets are you going to find that are just like a rock planet,
right,
or a nice planet?
Like, what if I went to a planet and it's just a huge city, and which there are some that are like that.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, how big this game is. And you were saying something about, you didn't say this particularly, but realistic in a way.
Believable.
You said believable.
Well, they've been saying they're going for very realism.
Very realism, but just to kind of harp on that, they had met with Elon Musk.
I did hear that too.
They met with him and was just talking about.
Why not?
Yeah, well, because he owns his own company, and
and he's interested in space and all that stuff.
He's interested in that, but like I'm sure, like people at NASA wouldn't really, government-wise, there's clearances, they're not able to talk about certain stuff. But Elon, he's like, what do you want to know? You know,
that's the thing. Is like I feel like sci-fi, you have that realm of, okay, you can get as close to as real as possible, but then there's only so much you can get to where you have to start making stuff up. Now, you could be like Gene Roddenberry, I hope I said his name right, who did Star Trek, and his vision for like what the future could be, I don't know if it, you can't tell if it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because like it foretold like the cell phones and everything back when in the 60s you didn't have that kind of stuff. Yeah. So like who knows what you could end up creating just by inspiring other people who actually can make that technology. Right. Yeah. I just think of basically any great sci-fi writer or creator kind of leaves their own mark on the future through inspiring people that then try to make that future a reality. Yeah. So that's why we're going to create Skynet. Yeah. Yeah. No, we're going to create Starplane. Star Meadow. You know what Skynet is, right? No. Oh, the Terminator? It's the robots that took over the world. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be another iRobot up in this piece. Man, that was good. So what is one thing or two things that you're super excited about? About this game? Yeah. Okay, having your own spaceship. That's huge. Come on, who doesn't want their own spaceship? My second thing would be... I'm trying to think of past the spaceship thing, because that's like the coolest thing ever. I guess if they keep it like Skyrim, where you can just like kill anybody, like that would be awesome. Some games you can't, and then you go in and like you can't hurt. Like Assassin's Creed, if you kill civilians, will not be tolerated. Yeah, or like you could basically kill like any character in Skyrim, and like it'll impact the game because now you don't get unlock whatever that guy was gonna do. Yeah. Or I love also like in Skyrim where like a character would die because like a giant or whatever is walking through and just kills him, and then guess you're never gonna do that quest. Yeah, it's like so I kind of want to see that kind of stuff, because again they're promising all this stuff. I want to see all the NPCs because it's a single player game. Yes. I want to see tons of bring them on, bring as many on. And that's the thing is like I don't want to see like, hey, we're invading a fortress. Yeah. And there's only like 20 people in there. I don't want this to be like Raya and the Last Dragon when you bring the whole army and it's only 10 people. Yeah. Man. I haven't seen ridiculous. That one, but I heard it's good. If you want to hear our review, you can watch the MEDIAtors review of that movie because we go in that movie. Oh man. So I would say two things I'm excited about. What are two things? Number one is customization. Okay. Yeah.
I pray to God that they do good on that. Number 2 is the exploration side of things. For sure.
Customization, I feel like that's the worst way for me to start a game, for me personally.
Really?
It's because I get so caught up. Okay, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this?
Yeah.
I'll spend hours
As long as they
trying to
give you-
decide, okay, maybe I should do this way, or maybe I should do this way.
We've been talking about this game a lot, but Red Dead, you could go back and change your appearance if you need to.
Are you talking about like the haircuts and everything?
I'm
Or-
just talking about that just in general. Like, if you've
Gotcha.
created some...
Yeah, like being able to change your mind, which if it's impacting the story, I don't think you can do too much.
Right.
Because it's like you've already progressed a certain storyline. But then I'm like, okay, then I feel like I have to restart the story. So like I called it earlier, like a choose your own adventure type of thing.
Yeah.
When I would read those books, I would hold my place when I make a decision so I could always go back and make a different decision. 'Cause
Yeah.
I always wanted to see every possibility.
Right.
And I feel like
that
this
might,
game is
that
gonna
might
be
be the
so
beauty
difficult.
of it. Yeah, that's true. It might be so in depth you might not want to start back over.
So for people like me that wants to know every single little branch, this could be a little overwhelming.
I like the unpredictable side of things.
And I
Like,
heard, like when you're in your ship, like
Yeah.
you get random encounters like
yeah,
that.
random encounters. And see, I love customization. I love creating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that would be fun to me. So I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. It now a deal breaker would be if there's no fighting. There has to, not just spaceship fighting, because honestly, I'm not very pumped about spaceship fighting. I'm talking about on the ground, on your feet, shooting at people.
And they say there's going to be that in there. So
Okay, good. Yeah, if that wasn't in there, I probably wouldn't.
and that's why I'm like, okay, are we going to see like spaceship fights? Like, I think in Star Wars, are you going to have like a gunner who can do it and somebody else is
Right.
flying it?
that would be
Because
fun.
I was like,
It says single player. It doesn't.
but you can have like an NPC doing stuff.
True.
You know,
True.
as long as they don't mess everything up. But
Yeah.
like, so
and
if
you
you're
can be
responsible,
a leaf on the wind. Rest in peace.
and most people probably got that reference.
Yeah.
If you didn't, don't worry, it's a spoiler.
It's
And-
we won't tell you what it is.
Like I said, there can be a lot that can go wrong. I feel in some of the combat. You know,
Yeah,
like Destiny is also a game that kind of reminds me of this because it's a sci-fi thing, but it's multiplayer,
Right.
which I thought was an interesting choice.
It seems like
But we'll see.
it seems like Starfield kind of went with. It has a Skyrim-y type of feel.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't look like Skyrim, but I'm talking about like the mechanics, the movement of stuff. What worries me is like that works good for medieval fighting style, versus with lasers and guns. I don't see if that's gonna work very well. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, like I said, because I think of again, like there's legendary weapons that you can get in Starfield, right? Like there's different
Okay.
levels of it.
Yeah.
So again, it reminds me of Destiny because you have similar mechanics with the weapons.
Right.
So they might do different things. You can have like sniper rifles and assault rifles
That's true.
and then shotguns and your pistols and all that kind of stuff. So you can
Bro.
mix and match what you're using.
I'm about to open a whole new thought to you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
What if you could pick and live a life as a bounty hunter?
I feel like you have to. You know, you'd be able to do that.
And you could freaking go Mandalorian on folks.
I mean, that'd be fun.
That
See, who wouldn't want to do that?
See, that's what I'm saying. I opened a whole new world. Like, could you imagine, like, hey, I'm going to be a bounty hunter? That to me would be fun. And, like, let's say, okay, I'm going to be a bounty hunter, right? And
Yeah.
you're going to, they tell you, okay, there is this guy who is on this planet. You go
Yeah.
to the planet, but it's not like Red Dead Redemption 2 bounties where you're done in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, you're having to go to different towns, talk to different people.
And, like, hunt them
You're
down.
hunting
Gotcha.
them down. And it might take a while, but then make the reward amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, if it don't have it, I don't want it.
And that's why another thing, I guess, is, okay, if it's going for realism,
Yeah.
are we going to see, like, you have to get fuel for your ship and food
I think
and
so.
all that stuff?
I think I'm actually about 90% sure that that's fact.
'Cause I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. So durability, I have a huge
Right.
issue with in games where, like, okay, you're going to...
As long as it's fast and convenient.
Yeah, but, like, okay, so, again, Breath of the Wild, I'm playing it.
Right.
Any of your weapons and shields, they break after a certain amount of usage. So the thing about durability is if I have a gun in Starfield and I have to worry about, I mean, you're already worrying about ammo
Yeah.
and you're worrying about all this other stuff. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about like, okay, you got to clean the gun, and you have to make sure that you power up your power cells for it, and all this other stuff on top of playing the game. Like, see, to me, that's not fun. Doing little things that you have to do in like real life.
I feel like I'm down for it as long as it's convenient. So what I mean by that is, let's say you get done with a mission, right?
Yeah.
And you're coming back to your ship. You can go to a certain area of your ship where a robot takes care of that stuff, and you go.
Yeah.
And then
that's not too
then
bad.
while you're flying, it's being worked on. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because again, if you like, for me, like I'll put things off for too long, and then say you're in the middle of a battle, and oh man, my gun jammed, or
Yeah, that would suck.
you know, like,
yeah, I'm not for that.
I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff.
And like, because they were saying that at one point, they showed it in the game. Like, he talked to his robot dog, saying that they were out of like certain kind of. They were calling coffee something else.
Decaf, right?
I don't know what they called it. I can't remember, but they were out of it.
Something.
So obviously, there's gonna be probably like gathering goods and stuff like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that it's gonna. I just want it to be great, man. Let's just make Starfield great.
Fingers crossed. Let's all say a prayer right now.
Father, I just pray that you help us become bounty hunters and kill as many NPCs as possible.
Amen.
Amen. I think you heard that one. But,
man.
that's all I've got on this.
No,
side.
like I said, I think just the excitement is real for it. Because
I mean, just look at that picture. Even the girl on the picture is excited. I mean, looking up at the
characters are all excited for it. This is just amazing. So we'll see.
We don't know anything
what
about
happens.
because we're the main characters, so
We don't really know about.
I hear you're the dragon boy. If you heard that, I'd be dying laughing.
But like
Dragons in space.
There's some theories that, like the story's gonna be like about some kind of cataclysmic event that's gonna happen to the universe or whatever. You have to stop. But
also they were saying it's learning the truth about the universe.
yeah, there's like some kind of secret or whatever. So because I know Todd Howard, apparently his whole thing is like exploration and answering the big questions of life.
Yeah.
So I feel like
And
that's
they did
supposed
say
to touch on that.
He said that they named it Starfield because they had to. He said that in one of his interviews.
Oh yeah.
Think about that.
So like, we'll find out exactly.
Of course, you have to name
this all
something.
means.
But he was
Can you
saying,
imagine a game with no name?
what would you call it?
Like they just like it's just a blank when you go to buy the game.
Yeah, you couldn't even you can't even call it code name something because that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
So you can't say we're talking about Unspoken because that's the name of the game now.
Yeah. Give me Bethesda's new game.
All right, Bethesda's like just a Bethesda's new game. That's what you call it.
I mean, yeah,
Then
basically
that's the name of the game. Bethesda's new game.
Yeah, it's like if you again imagine a game which is it's a blank.
Yeah.
Blank. Yeah, the picture, nothing else.
Just call it blank, I guess. Or but my thing is when he's talking about it, how would he?
How do you describe it? How do you say it?
So
this new game of ours,
in this nameless game that we've made. Oh wait, that's now the name of the game.
We present to you, and then you just don't say anything. You just point.
You just point, yeah.
And then the video plays.
Boom. You build your own game. This summer.
They just send you a computer and some code.
Yeah. And then it's and then send it to us when you're done, and then they release it and make all the money. But
they have stuff like that for real though. Like online games that actually solve medical mysteries and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you're doing puzzles online, but it's actually finding the correlation between different types of cancers and everything like that.
Yeah.
So what they do is they send everybody a piece of the game, they code their game, and then they send it back, and then they put it all together, and it's the game.
So what's your backstory gonna be?
I have no clue.
I know what mine's gonna be.
Do you create your backstory, or do you just pick a backstory? I feel like you can
if you can create it, this is what mine's
Okay.
gonna be. If I can create it, I'm gonna be this little boy, and me and my mom were slaves, right?
Okay.
And then one day this old dude shows up.
Okay.
And he kind of offers me a way out because I have some hidden talents. So then
Sounds weird.
I'm gonna. I wasn't meaning it like that. And then I leave my mom behind, and I meet this princess chick.
I feel like you're talking about Star Wars.
Don't let me finish. And then we're gonna basically at the end, I'm gonna have a black costume, and I'm gonna be burned and have scars and everything, and take over the world, kill younglings. And... Yeah, I'm talking about Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah. I was like, wait a second.
That's great.
So I wonder if it's gonna be like, again, you pick like Skyrim, where you have, okay, this is the history of this race, and this is the history of this race, and you just, that's your background. Or if it's like a Mad Libs thing, like you are blank, you put the blank in, and when you were this age, blank happened, and you fill in the blank.
That would be cool.
You know, like, so then, and then that's how you build. So like, who knows how it's gonna go? We don't know. I want to find out. I want to know.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to get Xboxes to find out this stuff.
I mean, are you leaning towards it more?
Yeah.
Same.
Just to play. I want to play this game.
And I want to play Halo too.
I mean, okay, I'll be honest. I don't really care about Halo, but I want to play Starfield.
Halo's so much fun. Like,
This is my type of game.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm like, I definitely wouldn't mind playing this game.
And look, I mean, like you said, it's not like you can't get a PS5 later.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
But
there's
right now,
technically a limit, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, there is a limit.
Well, you know, like the shortage and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean that'll go away.
They're saying
over
it's
time.
gonna pass soon anyway, so we'll find out. But yeah, I'm definitely, like I say, if this is just an exclusive game for Xbox, it looks like a game I would like to play, and I would probably need to get an Xbox to play it.
It would be awesome if we could like play together.
Yeah, right. Like a little co-op stuff. It doesn't have to be multiplayer, but like a little co-op wouldn't be.
Is there any
bad.
info on that?
No, there's none of that. All right, it's a single player game. There's no co-op. Like Skyrim, you don't get co-op in Skyrim.
That's true.
It'd be fun, but
yeah,
I feel like, all right, what's a game that doesn't, besides the ones we just mentioned, that is single player but would benefit from co-op stuff?
That would benefit from co-op stuff.
Besides the ones we've talked about today already. So
I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
Uncharted.
That's right.
I would say that would be a fun one.
That would be a fun one. I mean, I was thinking a multiplayer, but then Red Dead, because there's no co-op story mode, right?
No, there's not. But we did talk about Red Dead earlier.
Yeah.
And we did talk about Uncharted earlier. All right, what's another game?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree with.
Yeah.
I'm taking that one. That's mine. Assassin's Creed.
Oh, okay. I'll find a different one. What's that one?
Why am I getting all these?
I don't know. You still got that as my picture?
Yeah.
That's great. That was taken years ago, man. I was at a bowling alley.
Oh, man. Well, you got anything else for today?
I think that's it. Scale of 1 to 10, I give my excitement level to an 8 for Starfield.
I'll say this. It's got me excited enough to consider buying an Xbox.
That's a big deal.
And it's not even just getting an Xbox. It's about spending money for me.
Yeah.
I don't care about getting an Xbox or PlayStation. I just care about spending money.
That's true.
So it definitely makes you think about it a lot more.
Yeah.
So, well, that is all we've got for today. As always, check out the show notes, contact us, email us, let us know what you're thinking. And we'll see you guys next time.
Hasta luego.